1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost a weekend and you don't know what to do. Or you just need something fun to listen to. Southside Pod! Yes, we're on the air. And with gangs all here, all things on the South Side. Thanks for tuning in to the Southside Pod.
So I met a girl on an app.
A new girl?
And
Farmers only?
I met a girl on an app, and I deleted the app. Because I'm not meeting any more girls on apps.
Oh, you met one girl off an app, and then I'm not meeting because of the results.
Because of the result, I'm never.
Not because you're still with the girl.
We're done.
You're done with apps?
No, that was a quick one. That was a lot quicker than the last one. This is the rebound to the rebound.
What rebound?
All right, so first off,
the rebound to the rebound.
First off, you're gonna laugh at me because I clearly have a type because I went out with another Latina.
Oh,
nice.
So
nice.
This girl was Mexican. And she was very sweet, showed up for the first date. And the first thing she said to me, she was like, "Thank God you look like your picture." And I've never met a girl on an app in my life before. I was using Hinge. And
you said, "Wish I could say the same."
You know what?
Thank God you speak English.
Stay tuned for the
I don't know Spanish.
Hold on, stay tuned for the remainder of the story because she shows up, right?
Oh, no.
She shows up, right? And she looks like her picture, right? But she's wearing she's dressed very conservatively. Like everything she's wearing is like from the neck down, she's covered.
She's got a turtleneck,
right? She's in a very tight
long
outfit.
sleeves.
She's in a very tight outfit, right? She's very cute, but she's like covered. Like her whole body except for her hands and her head.
What is she
are
hiding?
covered. Okay. So we have this really nice date. We're out for about 2-3 hours.
She stayed that way the whole date?
She was in an outfit. She was in a tight outfit that was like a black lacy thing, but it kind of covered her up. Okay.
Black lace.
Then I think the pants might have been leather. I'm not exactly something like that. They might have been. Okay. Right. So
yours or hers?
Who said I was wearing pants?
Okay, all right.
So we're sitting there, and the thing is, I didn't know that she was Latina. You can't tell from the picture. She just had her first name, and her first name wasn't even a real first name. So she called herself Jenny on the app, and that wasn't even her real name. She was using a fake name on the app.
Did she tell you that she
gave me her real name after the date went well. She gave me her real name.
Oh,
and that was the thing.
Okay.
But at some point she started speaking Spanish to the bartender, and then I was like, and I actually thought that she was like an Italian girl because she was from an Italian neighborhood, and I was like, and she just had that skin complexion where I was like, I think she's
olive
Italian.
oil skin,
kind of like that. Okay. So then we were sitting there, we were talking, we had a really nice date. Walked her to her car, said goodbye, and set up another date. Okay. So in between that date and the one that I had set for her, she calls me up out of the blue. And she goes, "I've got 2 tickets to a comedy show up at Zany's in Rosemont."
Tickets to Paradise.
And she goes, let's go to this.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay. And so she calls me that day. And
who's the comic? Is that integral to the
don't know his name.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know his name. But he is going to be part of the story.
Okay.
He is going to be part of the story. So
John Lovitz.
I drive to her house. I'm going to meet her at her house, which she's very surprised by. She's like, "Oh, normally people don't pick me up."
What's her address
I've
again?
noticed that some girls out there are treated really badly. Like I feel like on a date I should pick you up. You know? I feel like I should hold the door
That's
for you.
old
all
school.
the stalkers and
Like, that's
Not
what
like you go there and if you pick them up, you're just beeping.
Right. I walk up to the
Texting
door.
them.
I open the door for him. Like I'm still dating like the way I was taught.
Well, yeah, right.
That's
the
how I am.
The way our fathers taught us, right?
I mean, the girl that I dated before her.
Walk on the inside side of the street.
Right.
Open the doors, everything, right?
The girl that I dated before was like Bronx Tale. Like when I would open the door for her, she leaned across and pushed the door open.
Good
This
girl.
one didn't do that, but she leaned across and pushed it. And remember, she was 4'9", so she really had to reach out to do it.
She's like on one of those sticks with a claw on it.
She's like falling over trying
right.
to lead through the SUV to push the door open. But so anyway, I pick her up, and when I get to her house, she's not ready yet. Okay, and again, she's wearing a very conservative outfit. Like she's wearing like a pink turtleneck.
Now
She's
it's
got
a pink turtleneck.
Very bubbly personality.
Lace something over it.
And she goes,
leather
pants.
"Come on in. I got to get ready." And I go, "Okay, fine." She goes, "The living room's over there." And I walk into the
Sounds
living
like a Chris Hansen episode.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Exactly. That would have been better.
Why don't you have a seat?
Hold on a second. That would have been better. That would have been better because I walk into a room that has no less than 50 skulls in it.
Awesome. Santeria.
No, they were not sugar skulls.
Santeria is like that voodoo stuff.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was that. There were skulls and skeletons and black candles. There were statues of things that weren't skulls, but when you got close, they were made out of skull bone.
Right.
And you could see that. I mean, like
all ex-lovers.
Yeah.
probably everybody she's ever
There
met.
was one pedestal that was empty with your
Indiana Jones and the
Chris
Temple
under
of
it.
Doom
And it just
stuff.
said hinge guy.
and today's date.
And she yells from the other room. As you can tell, I really like Halloween. Now it's January, late January.
And my neighbors got their 12-foot skeleton up still.
Actually, it
with a
might
Santa hat on
actually be the first week of February, so it's definitely not Halloween season,
Sure.
right? And I'm like, oh, okay. And I look down the hallway where she yelled. Her kitchen table's there, and it looks like the table out of Beetlejuice. And there's like actual like skeleton statues like in the room. Like the whole house is this way. Okay.
Did you see the bedroom?
No, probably had a pentagram in it because she comes walking out. She comes walking
Why are
out.
the walls bleeding?
She comes walking out. And for the first time, she's not wearing something conservative.
Oh, okay.
She's got a very low cut shirt
Okay.
where essentially if the bra wasn't on, she'd be topless. Like the bra is part of the shirt.
Nice.
Okay. Like the
Solid.
ensemble. Like that's
Solid move.
that's how low cut it is.
All of a sudden, you didn't care about the skulls.
No, because they were on her
faded away.
chest. She had
There
a
were skulls
skull
on her
tattoo
chest?
No.
that ran down the center of her chest.
Amazing.
Probably all the way to her waist because I never saw where it ended. Okay, that had what looked like devil horns coming out of the top of it.
Cool.
Okay, like she was like, those are branches. And I was like, are they? Because they look like devil horns. Okay. And then I'm like, again, old school, right? So I'm trying not to stare at it. So I just know there's a giant tattoo.
How white did you feel?
I felt really white. I felt really white. I did.
Chris so white.
I was like, holy cow. So like, we get in the car, we're driving along. I'm trying my hardest. Like I'm trying to wait for her to look out the window so I can look at her chest and try to figure out what is on her chest. Cause
Why did you ask her?
Well, that's what I eventually did. We got to the thing as we were walking along. I was like, look, I'm trying to be a gentleman here, but like you obviously have this giant tattoo on you. And I go, what is it? Because I don't want to
You
just
cannot
stare
expect
at
me
you.
to look when you're
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to stare at you. And she goes, oh no, they're skulls. And they like run all the way down and they have these branches. And she goes, it was in my picture on the app. Now I went back and looked at the app. No, it's not. It's not in there at all. Okay. There's one picture where you see the very top of one of the branches and you wouldn't even notice it if you weren't paying attention. But like definitely not in any of her pictures on the app.
okay.
So now we go to the comedy show. Sit back, watch the comedian. It was really funny.
Oh,
okay.
Did you do crowd work on her?
Huh? No.
Okay.
did
I
not.
thought he was
That
going
would've
to
been
point
awesome.
out the.
No.
Okay.
No,
oh,
but
what do you get
at
there in
the
your
end,
tits there, lady?
at the end of it, there's a meet and greet, like an impromptu
Oh, boy.
meet and greet.
Okay.
Okay. So everybody's standing in line and she wants to go to the meet and greet and she's all excited. And as we're walking up, everybody's just taking a picture where they walk up and put their arm around him and they take a picture and they walk away.
Yeah.
They're not doing crazy photos. They're not doing anything special.
Here we go.
And she's like, I have a really great idea when we get up there. It's going to be hysterical.
Oh, boy.
This is what we're going to do.
When I say
Oh,
run,
boy.
Okay.
punch him in the face.
And I'm really like, what is she going to do?
Go,
right?
go.
What is she going to do? What is she going to do? And she's like, as we're getting closer, she's like, look, you're going to be okay with whatever I say, right? And I'm like,
Hold this gun.
what are we going to do?
What are we doing?
So we get up here, and the girl with the skulls all over her chest walks up to the comic, shakes his hand, and goes, I have a really great idea for a picture. And he goes, we're just kind of standing there. And she goes, no, I got a great idea. And he goes, okay, what's your idea? And she goes, have you ever seen the movie Human Centipede?
What?
Okay. I need to see this picture, Chris.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
'Cause
Show me the photo.
I haven't seen the movie.
Show me the photo.
No,
Yeah.
because we didn't do it.
Oh.
Because
Oh,
the moment
boy.
she said, have you ever seen the movie Human Centipede? I looked at the comic. The comic looked at me, and he
You're
goes,
like, you want to be the front or the back?
no. He looks at me, and he goes, this your girlfriend? And I go, second date. And he just starts freaking laughing because
Nice.
he knows that he's looking at the look at my face, and I'm like, this is not my idea. And he's like, we're not going to do that. And she goes, no. You bend over. He'll get on the end. So I was going to have ass to mouth, but nobody was going to be behind me in the Human Centipede. That's how that was going to go. And the comedian was going to be in the center.
That's the worst part.
And she was going to be in the front.
The front's the best position.
That's what she was picking for herself.
Yeah.
By the way, the whole idea of doing a Human Centipede photo at the end of a comedy show.
How long was she thinking about this?
I don't know, man.
And how did it come about?
She's got skulls all over her place, and she
and how
wanted to
many
do Human
photos
Centipede.
with other people did she do that pose with?
I don't know. knew.
All of them.
All I knew was I wasn't going inside when I dropped her off. Like, she probably was like,
your skull would have been on her mantle.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I dropped this girl off. And I walked her to the door.
Here, drink this and come inside.
I actually contemplated not walking her to the door. I was like, maybe I don't walk her to the door. And I'm like, no, I'll walk her to the door.
Pulled up in one of those nets like hunting.
I think if I would have gone in the doorway, that might have happened. Mm-hmm. Like, I was not going in.
She would have Dahmered you.
I was not going into the house, right?
Well, we're just going to take some pictures.
Dahmered him.
Little kiss.
Yeah, Jeffrey.
She reached out and gave me a kiss. And then I was like, nice to see. Like, I was not even going to entertain the "can I come in" thing. I was leaving, and I was like, "I'll talk to you later."
Did not need coffee,
and that was it. Like, I mean, I went home, and I remember I had some of my friends going, "It could be fun. Why not? Like, just live a little." And I'm I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die if I go into that house. Like, I'm not going in there at all. And so, like, that was it.
Have you talked to her ever since? Or no,
I just stopped texting. Like, I canceled the third date and just stopped texting.
Do you think she's talking about you on a podcast somewhere? So I messed with this guy. I went to my brother's comedy show and...
As you enjoy this episode of Southside Pod, remember that for exterior windows, doors, patio doors, and storm doors, look no further than Window and Door Superstore of Oak Forest. No high-pressure sales. They don't walk into your house with some dingy example window and say, hey, take this deal. And if I leave, the deal goes away. Forget that. Go into their showroom. There's an owner in the showroom. He's going to show you every single thing. No pictures in a book. You want to know what that doorknob looks like? Here it is. You're going to get to see it all, and then during the install, there's an owner on site as well. They got their own installers. They don't farm out the work. That's how they do it right. They've been doing it that way in Oak Forest since 1985. All major brands are custom made. No stock items. That way you get a perfect fit. Window and Door Superstore of Oak Forest is a half block east of 159th and Ridgeland at 6280 159th Street. See more at windowdooroakforest.com. Lemont Unlocked in another great spot here in Lemont, and Tess is with me on this one. This is going to be awesome, and Tanya is joining us from Petersen's Main Inn, which I did not know had the last name. I just thought it was the Main Inn. How are you, Tanya?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. You know, Tess, we're going to talk about it with Tanya. This is a historic place, and our guest today, Jason Berry, is going to come on and talk about Smoky Row. But first, I want to learn a little bit from you about your history with this location. It's been around since the 1890s, was part of Smoky Row. When did the family take over, and how long have you been running this place?
Since 1988. My parents bought it in 1988. My dad thought it was a good idea. My mom, not so much at the time. Obviously, it was a pretty good decision, but like after all this time and hard work, it's a great place to be.
Yeah, and the thing that I think people know it best for, and I'd love for you to get into it. I don't know, Tess, have you ever been in here before and seen the pool tables?
I have spent one too many times here, so I am definitely a regular Main Inn. I'm very lucky to not only work down the block, but live up the block, so it's a great place for me to walk to after a hard day work. But yeah, I have come in and I've seen so many people play pool here, and I'm looking around and I see trophies everywhere. So can you talk to us a little bit about why the pool tables? Are you a pool shark?
Yes. I kind of, that was kind of because of the, okay, so when I first started coming in, we had one table, or when they first bought the bar, they had one table, and then eventually grew into three with the growing of the pool teams and interest in pool, and a lot of nice people that just want to play. When I was 16 years old, my dad used to wake me up every day I head off of school and bring me down here, and I have to help him clean. So there's no cell phones or anything then, so I was bored to death. And he's like, play pool. I'm like, I don't want to play pool. And eventually I got bored enough where I just started hitting balls in the pool table. And
then you've won some contests. I know I can tell already that you don't like talking about yourself, and I love it. I mean, I love the fact that you're modest about it, because it took forever, like as we were hanging out before this, for somebody to even mention that you've won all these big, like, giant competitions. So, like, what would you say is like the biggest one you've won?
I'd have to say there's a Valley International tournament that happens in Vegas where I played Canadians, a girl from Finland. There's teams, I didn't play everybody, but there's teams from the Bahamas and Japan and everything there. It's a really, really cool tournament. And my first year there, I won the 9-ball open and took second in the 8-ball.
Awesome. So Tess, you mentioned that you have been in here before. So how would you classify this bar? Like a neighborhood bar? Is this a late night stop in because you're out and you don't want to go home yet? Like what is this?
That's a great question. For me, it is always our last stop, only because we'll do the circuit around Canal Street, whatever. And as we're walking home, we'll start hitting up all of the bars. So for us, I've always described it as more of our last stop. However, I've been here a million times, and no matter what time of day, there's always going to be people here. So it's a great neighborhood stop, in my opinion.
And the things that are up on the walls, you have all the awards and things that have been won. And one of the other plaques you had, I think you're getting it redone. It's not up there right now. Your dad started the car show. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that before we were done, because that is something that's still going on.
Yes.
And it's a point of pride for you and the family, right?
Yes. It's something him and his buddies did. I think they used to meet with the Lemont Car Club or whatever it is. I think some of them meet on Mondays at Lemon Tree.
Okay.
And he just thought it would be a good idea to bring it to downtown Lemont. And it started kind of smaller and it ended up as it is now. It's great. It's great for the town. It's great for the kids. It's great for anybody. It's I don't know. I love it.
That's awesome. Petersen's Main Inn. What's the exact address?
It's 302 Main Street.
302 Main Street. Come on down here. This is a fun, lively place with an awful lot of people. It feels almost like Cheers. Like if I walk in here enough times,
it is.
Somebody's going to learn my name.
It's very homey.
Yeah, people are going to yell my name as I walk in.
Yes.
So this may be a new spot. And again, has a history with Smoky Row, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Tanya, thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, back at Petersen's Main Inn, and Jason Berry is joining us, Tess. And Jason's one of those people that makes this town work.
Oh, wow.
And he's always doing so much for Lemont. Sure. And he's also a historian. He's written a historical book. He also is just a plethora of information, and we're going to talk about Smoky Row today. How are you, my friend?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, yeah, listen, first off, I know nothing of Smoky Row.
Okay.
Like Tess knew a little bit. She was telling me about it. I know nothing of it. So I'm going to be the perfect person to explain this to, because I'm starting from go. Give me an overview of what Smoky Row is.
Smoky Row is something important to Lemont's history. It was what was a red light district in the time. Lemont wasn't the only community with a Smoky Row. That's how they described an area with a lot of taverns, a lot of dance halls, a lot of places to entertain yourself.
Okay.
On Sunday night, with the only day off work, or any night of the week, really. So, one of Lemont's celebrated historians, Sonia Kalik, found the origins of this red light district, the Smoky Row in Lemont, and that was on Stevens Street, north of the I&M Canal. So only about a block of the town was where you would go sinning, And in the 1890s, the Chicago Santeria District began building the drainage canal. This is the celebrated canal that reverses the Chicago River. And to do that in Lemont, you had to blast through tons of limestone. And to do that, you brought in 5,000 immigrants to work on this. So Lemont's population in the 1880s were around 5,000, and it got to near 10,000 in the 1890s. So now you had 5,000 Irish, German, and Polish immigrants, later Swedish immigrants, living and working in camps all around Lemont, building this canal, and they needed a place to spend their money when they were done working 10 and 12 hours a day. And so the village of Lemont became wide open and welcomed them in. Early maps show 54 saloons in Lemont. The stories say there are as many as 80 or 100 saloons in Lemont. And I invited Lemont Unlocked to this bar, Petersen's Main Inn, because this is an original Smoky Row tavern. This was a Smoky Row site. It was built in the 1890s and opened by a Polish immigrant. And this has always been a bar, but it's important because it's one of two original Smoky Row bars left. This and Canal Street Pub are the two pubs that still have a tie to, we were there when Lemont was the Wild West.
Yeah, I noticed, Tess, you didn't mention any coffee shops.
I know. I really thought Folklore would have been on that map.
There's like 100 saloons, no coffee shops.
Yeah.
What do you know about Smoky Row? Because I mean, you live here, you're a business person here, you own your own shop, not a tavern, of course. But like, what do you know about it?
Can I interrupt? She does have a liquor license.
So I might be on the map pretty soon. We'll see. Thanks for reminding me, Jason. Yeah, I feel like a lot of what Jason said is something that you kind of learn along the way when you become a Lemont citizen. But one of the very first things I was told was that the antique shop, Smoky Row Antiques, was an actual brothel. So if you have any more information about that, I'm sure we'd all love to learn more about it.
Yeah, it very likely was. Smoky Row lived on the edge of Cook County, Lemont and Cook County. We didn't have a police force at the time, so you had to get the Cook County Sheriff to come out here to break up business. And so whatever the 5,000 guys that were working on Canal needed, the Smoky Row provided. And we had all sorts of stuff happening in town. The residents that lived, the good people of Lemont, actually, not all of them were in favor of Smoky Row. And actually, right up the street from us was the Lemont Methodist Episcopal Church. It's now the Old Stone Church, or where the Historical Society has its home. And starting in the 1890s, Reverend Clancy began a crusade against Smoky Row. So he would organize citizens groups. He would contact the Cook County Sheriff. He would help point out places that needed to be raided. And there were stories published in the Tribune. Sheriff comes down and nabs 2 girls and a madam. And so that was definitely happening. It got to the point where it was Reverend Clancy against Lemont's village president, the mayor at the time, Mayor McCarthy.
The mayor liked the brothels.
The mayor
He was like, oh, yeah, hold on a second there, big guy. Yeah, we're not going to take away the brothel, are we?
They definitely liked the saloons. You could get a liquor license even back in the 1890s. It was $500, which would be about $17,000 today.
Wow.
And beer sold for a nickel in Lemont. So that's a lot of nickels to get your license.
I was going to say, Lamonters would love that right now. So I wish we could bring that back a little bit.
Smoky Row night.
You can.
5 cent beers.
I just heard you have a liquor license, so you can bring it back.
I'm going to start a Smoky Row night. Everything's a nickel.
Yeah, so that was a lot of nickels being made back in the day. And so, you know, the village took that money and it built its first waterworks in 1891. And so that's how the village got its own water supply. It built Village Hall in 1893. And then it built an addition to Central School, Old Main or Old Central, in 1896. So the village put that saloon money to good use.
Wow. Okay, so you put something on the table here that makes me nervous.
Very.
But there's a story behind it. And what you did is you put out 3 shots of malort. So why do we do this? Why is this poison sitting in front of me, Jason?
All right. So to celebrate Smoky Row is a celebration of immigration, right? You know, the Irish dug the I&M Canal, and they brought whiskey. They were followed by the Germans, and they brought their lager beers, their old style. Polish brought their vodka, and when the Scandinavians came, they blessed us with this potion called malort. But this
Mine is
special.
bigger. Hold on a second. Tess, put yours up there.
No.
Look at the difference in that.
We're not trading. We're not trading.
What's going on here?
And so,
I love how Jason took the.
I know. He likes this, apparently.
I do. It reminds me of someone very special. So, Petersen's Main Inn was started by Dwayne Petersen. He inherited the bar, or took over the bar from past operators. And being of Scandinavian heritage himself, he not only drank malort, he only drank malort.
Right.
And so if I was walking down the block for the car show or something and Dwayne saw me and said, hey, Jason, come in and have a drink, that means I knew I was going to be drinking malorts.
Goodness gracious.
Multiple malorts.
The best part about this was right before we sat down, I'm going to let everybody in on this. Right before we sat down, they asked Tess if she wanted something to drink. She's like, no, I'm going to Pilates. And then Jason buys her malort.
I know. I'm nervous. Taylor, if you're watching this, I'm sorry for how bad I'm going to be tonight.
You got the babyest malort.
Is there a toast? Is there something we're just going to put
Smoky Row, right?
All right, the Smoky Row. We'll try
and
to
Lemont.
Ooh. Oh, that's
I
rough.
was shaking a little bit.
No, that's rough.
Knowing
it's
what's
just-
coming, it's like, ooh.
You know the thing that people don't understand about malort. Some people might know this. When COVID hit, remember all malort did was just put antiseptic or something like that on the side of the bottle, and they just sold malort. Like people were using it as hand wash, and I just drank some hand wash essentially.
There you go.
No offense, malort,
what it tastes like.
but I think that's what they did.
It's what it tastes like. That's bad.
What is the legacy of Smoky Row now? Like how? Like what? Like it's a great story. It's a great historical story. It's a great kind of fun thing, especially when you walk into a place here like Petersen's Main Inn to think about, look at pictures, and there's some old pictures that are here. You've written a book about the history of Lemont recently, but like when you think about what it is right now, what it means to Lemont, what would you say?
Well, I think the those 5 and 6 generations that are in Lemont were here because of the work required to build a canal and to quarry stone. And Smoky Row was the way that they let off steam. As a way they got together on a Sunday with their families. It wasn't all sin. It was the way European immigrants were used to having a good time with the beer. And so we are grateful for those folks that founded Smoky Row, because Lemont continues to enjoy a good time and knows a good bar when it sees one, and Main Inn is one of those.
Before we get out of here, I want to give you a chance to plug that book, because you did write a book recently, and you do dive into this, and it's a lot of pictures. It's basically like pictures of Lemont. How to tell people about it real quick and how they get it.
Sure. One of the pictures is hanging up on the wall here.
I saw it when I walked in. Like I walked in, they were showing me the pictures. I'm like, that's in Jason's book.
Yeah. There's a picture of this bar from the Smoky Row days in the book. But get it at the Lemont Area Historical Society. That's the best place to buy it, or any other bookshop. But at the Historical Society, they always have signed copies, so that's a great place to pick up the book and support the Historical Society as well. If you buy it there, the proceeds of the book goes right into the Historical Society.
I've learned a lot today. Well, you got one.
If I can say as well, I have a signed copy from Jason Barry. It's my favorite coffee table book. Every Lemonter needs it.
I've learned so much today at Petersen's Main Inn. I've learned about the history of this place. I've learned a little bit about Smoky Row. I've learned that for some strange reason, Jason Barry likes to drink malort, and the coffee shop has a liquor license. We've learned so much today. It's absolutely incredible. Thanks so much, my friend.
Thank you.
Dated this girl, long black hair, go into her apartment. There's skulls everywhere. I said, oh my God, what do you do? Obviously voodoo. Please get away from me and don't leave a dead chicken on my porch. Because I don't practice Santeria. I don't got no crystal ball. I just want you to leave me alone before I'm gonna fall down the basement stairs of your cursed little house. And I don't want to be your voodoo doll inside your little house. Get away. Demons be gone. No second date. So long. Adios. It's the South Side. It's the South Side. It's Southside Pod. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in to the Southside Pod. Y'all come back now, you hear?